It's mass finishing.
Taylor trying to catch himself, using his jab. He's the right hand.
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on?
My mic's gone low, my mic is just rising. But Kojo Raps on TV, we're here back again. It's another Tuesday. We're reporting live from Central London, here to talk the best things in boxing. I'm here with my co-hosts Tom and Sam. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, what's going on? We've got a bit of a round table today.
I was going to say it's getting a bit jam-packed in here, man. And we're two down as well. We're here with the Streetwise management guys. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, we're good.
Good. You want to do introduction? Want to start with Mike? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you very much.
Keeping busy? Busy start to the year?
Always busy.
And Mike Jr., how you doing, sir?
All good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, perfect. And you brought along, but I recognize his face somewhere, so I'm going to wait and see if it is him. But you came with Coach Abs.
Yeah.
Yep, just want to say hello, bro?
Yeah, what's everyone saying? The Purist magazine on Instagram, maybe you recognize it from there.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, the Purist Boxing, right?
Boxing, yeah.
Not
That's
a Love
right.
Island thing, nah.
Nah.
Secret's about to be exposed.
I was literally about to say, Michael, you look like you've been training that as well. You've been working that, brother.
That's how you say it. If the manager looks good, then I could whip him into line.
Say it. That's it. Looking younger by the day.
And last but not least, Jordan St Dujon, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good. Cookie, just to let you know, I think my mic's gone down, but yeah, we're back in action. So guys, been a busy weekend. I think as much as we're going to talk about what the guys have been doing in the last few weeks, months, I think it's still kind of like everything from the Wilder Fury has just been so much noise, so much
Backlash
rumors,
is still there, man.
conspiracy theories. I mean,
Bruh.
unreal. And today we've had an active day in terms of announcements. So we've got Dillian White versus Povetkin, Anthony Yarde versus Arthur, which is Lyndon Arthur, which is a light heavyweight clash, something that we didn't expect. I think that's a good domestic dust-up. And the last but not least, Joshua versus Pulev. But I think the best place to start really is just find out what's been going on with the guys. The two that are missing, is it because they're champions and they got belts and they want to come?
Yeah, man. On that. Let's talk to my publicist, yeah, isn't it?
We'll have to start taking down those books and putting
Yeah.
themselves out.
They're telling me what to do now, you know what I'm saying?
It's not a bad situation, though.
I got the call later and said, "No, we ain't coming." You go down there and represent. You know what I mean?
I mean, what can I say, man? But no, it's good to have the guys. Obviously, back in the last year, they both won titles, English and British, Southern areas, two Southern areas. Yeah, so that's great for them. But what's the plan for 2020, guys? Like, I'm gonna go through, speak to all of you individually, but we'll start with the lead, man. What's the plan, and then?
Well, we always take it steady. We always look for the opportunities for the boxing, the right opportunities. Really and truly, both Ramez Mahmood and Ryan Walker were fighting above their weight.
Okay.
But the opportunities came. Myself and my son Michael, we really looked at the opponents that were available for them to win titles because we thought it was about time they won titles, and the opportunities came. Yeah. And we took them. Yeah. And they were very tough fights. If they hadn't trained as diligently as they did, and Michael hadn't put them through, the ring, so they say, then it might have been another outcome. But obviously, being professional as the two fighters are, and Michael is, they got the job done. Yeah. And now we move forward to the point where we decided as a team that, okay, winning championships that's where we're at now. Yeah. And we now have to let them win championships in their optimum weight, which is Ramez will come back down to super bantam and Ryan will come back down to bantam. Yeah. So we're hoping that we get some opportunities there later on this year.
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds good. Just going to check. Is anyone hearing any background?
Yeah, just a little bit. But I think it's clear now.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, what were you guys doing, man, in the corner?
What you look at the for?
Because you were both like, it stopped, and I'm like, okay, what were you guys doing?
You know what? I think it's because we're in good company. We're just so relaxed. We don't need to force anything.
Is that one of them? All right, but that's great to hear. Obviously, victorious in terms of like building up their careers and getting more recognition. You spoke about the training diligently. I mean, that's going to lead into Mr. Amoo Jr. All the work that he's been putting in. We're still seeing you guys on the treadmill. Wherever you can get it, you're still doing it. So that's credit to yourself. But what's your sort of thoughts for 2020? The guys you're working with now, you brought somebody else on the team. Yeah. What's your vision for 2020?
For me, I feel 2020 is going to be a big one. I feel last year was the sort of year where we was more building foundations. So there was a lot of work that might have gone unnoticed. You know what I mean? People deep in boxing would have noticed. I think we would have put a lot of people on notice. But I feel like on the bigger scheme of things, it's gone unnoticed. But the work has been done to set us up to go on to where we want to go. And for instance, 2020, obviously, like you said, a new team member in Coach AB over here. Yeah. He's been a massive help. He's been a big part of the last 2 training camps, which both have ended with 2 titles. So that's progress. And also we're working with a lot of amateurs, a lot of up-and-coming boxers that are obviously, seeing as they're still amateurs, can't really give no one shout-outs. But fighters that we believe that are very good chance of going on to the Olympics. Yeah. And even the others that we're more than certain we're going to become pros at some point. We're going to become elite professionals. Yeah. And obviously we're just trying to build a stable and build something big. You know what I mean? We're not just in the game to take part. We're here to take over.
I like that.
So
I like that ambition. I like that. Big up.
Yeah, you touched on solidifying the foundations last year. I think we all noticed, like, I think it was 16 weeks since you guys were last in the studio. And I think, you know, the fact that you've chipped away, you've done the hard graft, and it's given the rewards, you know, 2 Southern Area champions. What do you feel as a team it does to make a champion? How do you feel? What do you think are the special ingredients to making a champion, no matter what level, sort of Southern Area, English, you know, and beyond?
Again, I think it's all down to the foundations, and a lot of it is what goes on behind the scenes. It's like, obviously, boxing is it's an entertainment business. Everyone loves to be on the stage and loves to be on the big platform and putting themselves out there. But to get there, what you have to do is a lot of work that goes behind the scenes that goes unnoticed. And I think the ingredients, the main ones are just having that focus, having a good team that build you up, and everyone that's there supporting each other, and all having the same vision. You know what I mean? We all know where we're going. We know where we are at the game, and we know where we want to be. So we just got to make sure we stay together, push each other, and just carry on building.
Do you feel like that added impetus now, having, you know, more training methods, stuff like that? Do you think that just adds chemistry to the camp? Do you feel a lot more healthier, a lot more happier in camp?
Yeah, 100%. Having 2 champions now has made training even easier. You know what I mean? Training's hard when you're doing it by yourself, when no one's really supporting you, no one's believing in you. But once you actually got to a certain level, and like you said, you touched down on us on when we come in here last time, and it was like we was relatively unknown with nothing. Yeah. Everyone says what they're gonna do, what they want to do. You know what I mean? But like you said, we've come back in now and we've done it. We've delivered 2 champions. We've also got Dujon, Jordan, who's still a novice in the pro game, but already he's putting a lot of people in his weight category on notice. So I feel like we're definitely making big strides.
There's a lot of from our neck of the woods in terms of opportunities. They're very few and far between. Yeah. So you have to prepare yourself for those opportunities. We're not aligned with the massive promoters, the massive PR wagon behind yourself. So we have to try and make the opportunities for ourselves. And the most important thing is to be patient. You know, those opportunities will arise if you maneuver yourself in the right position. Yeah. Now, they're not going to come like that straight away.
Yeah, do you feel sorry to interrupt, do you feel like a lot of fighters, when you look at the grand scheme of things, do you think they take fights too soon that are not necessarily equipping them to be at that stage?
You can. Look, we've been guilty of it. We've done it with Ryan when he fought Michael Amoo. It was an opportunity for Southern Area title. We took the fight.
English title.
Was it an English title? It was an English title, and it was too soon for him. And again, it was above his optimum weight, but we agreed as a team that it was an opportunity, and we took it, and it told us a lot about ourselves. Yeah. You know, so we went back to the drawing board, and now he's a Southern Area champion. You know, so you have to be wary of the opportunities that you get and think them through thoroughly before you take them. You know, so that's part and parcel of the unity amongst the team, and the team also understanding that you have to be patient in this game. You can't just, you know what I mean? You can't just run before you can walk, you know? And I know boxers get taken in by the bright lights and the TV shows and all that, what goes with it. But you have to be careful not to take that too soon, because as much as you go there too soon, you get overexposed. You know, the critics come out, then your opportunity. Because, for instance, if you're a 5-0 fighter and you go on TV and you beat a prospect, you can't go back fighting journeymen. You can't go back learning your craft. They want to put you in with bigger and better fighters. You know, and then when you get exposed, people then start saying, "Oh, he's not that good. He wasn't as good as what we thought." But he hasn't had the opportunity to learn his craft. You know, maybe if he was 10-0, 11, 12, 13-0 and had that opportunity, it might have been different. And there's plenty of time to build that up, you know, and build the experience up. It's a tough sport, boxing. And you know, you got to give credit to anyone who gets through those ropes and does that. But they also have to understand that you have to be patient, because it's a tough sport. As
a manager, as an advisor, does it make the journey a lot more rewarding, seeing the guys really from the grassroots build their way up?
Most definitely. If someone comes into your gym, we had Ryan Walker come into the gym, we had Ramez come into the gym from nothing, and to watch them steadily grow and progress, you know, and you yourself, you don't know how far you're going to take them because you're growing with them, you know, as Michael's growing with them as a trainer, you know, and the boys, they're all growing mentally, and this unit is growing together, and you all have your dreams and your goals, and when you see them materialize, it's a fantastic feeling. When Ramez won the Southern Area title, I mean, it was a massive occasion for us as a team, you know, and people might just look at it, oh, it was just a Southern Area title, but for us, it was everything. It was everything. Same with when Ryan won the title. When Ryan won the title, he came back from a defeat, you know, and we had to, as a team, rally around him and go, listen, we know you can be a champion. We know you can be a Southern Area champion at least. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you are, you know, and that's support, that's positioning, that's being patient, that's waiting for the right opportunity. He became a Southern Area champion, and for us, that's so rewarding, because all the hard work that's been put in by everybody has been rewarded by him getting across the line and being a champion.
Yeah, the one thing I can see from when I look at the outset is loyalty between this stable. You know, there's a lot of loyalty here, and there's a lot of, you know, drive with you guys. I think, you know, you see a lot of stables, and you see a lot of fighters. I mean, even when they reach the pinnacle of the sport, they're willing to then move away, move to America, have a new way of life. But I think with you guys, you've always kind of stuck through the thick and thin, especially like we said, Ryan lost the fight, dust yourself down, come back again. And there's a formula for success here. We've seen it with the two lads that have won the Southern Area. So moving on, I suppose it gives a lot of encouragement to. Yeah,
you have to be open, you have to be honest, you have to talk to your team, you have to all be open in your ambitions and what you see, where you're going. You know, you can't. If you start splintering off and listening to people here and there and they're not in the team, that's when you get fractions, and that's when you get people being misled and going in the wrong direction. You know, for us, Jordan has come into the team. He's come to us and he understands the process, and he listens, and he's ingrained himself in the process because he's seen it happen with Ramez, he's seen it happen with Ryan, you know, and he understands what it takes now to go through those levels and to get where he's going to, you know. So it's just about being open and honest with one another, to be fair.
And I was going to come to you, sorry, Sam. I was going to say, let's get round the table. Yeah. Coach Abs, just talk to us how you guys started working together. I know earlier you just mentioned you did the Purist Boxing page, but how did you guys start working together, and what's it been like working with the team?
Yeah, Michael messaged me from the Purist Boxing page, and we got into contact through that. On my page, I do a lot of like boxing breakdowns, not more so just reporting on fights, but actually breaking down the technical aspect, and breaking down technique and things like that. So I think Mike would have seen that, thought having someone around with that kind of expertise would be good, innit? So came into the camp, just small little things in the camp. He would just ask me, "Oh, what's your opinion on this?" That I think having the outside perspective, it helps, innit? And yeah, I didn't even mean to be a coach, innit? Just things started happening. Picked up the pads. Yeah. It's like I used to train with these guys actually boxing. Yeah. No compliments in it. Pick up the pads and they said, "Oh, you're quite natural at this, innit? You're actually good at this, innit?" Like just showing them certain techniques, combinations, and then even the fighters enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. And it's just really taken off from there.
I mean, that's good to hear, and I'm gonna let Sam come next with the question. But how did you kind of get into boxing? Or you spoke about the techniques, and I know the page, I mean, it's done fantastically well, but where did you learn your sort of breakdown or your analysis skills from?
To be honest, I've just been watching boxing all my life. Like,
you're young, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying.
The whole 5 years, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
This is the only person that makes me feel nervous on my own knowledge of boxing. I'm confident in it. I've studied boxing. Every now and then I'll try and hit him up with some questions like that. You know, I think I know what I'm talking about. And the response that I get, I'm like, raw.
I hear you on that one.
I won't question you again.
I hear you on that one, man.
The knowledge is deep.
Just being born with a razor sharp IQ.
Do you know what? Some people's game, like IQ, is a bit mad.
Yeah,
like,
people see boxing very different. Boxing has got so many levels to really take in, and it's easy. Obviously, you got the casual fans at the very beginning, and obviously people that are really deep into boxing pugilists, as they say. He went with the purists, but he lives by
for real.
Yeah, so the page, and then now you're working with the guys. How's that been?
It's been good. 2 camps, 2 titles. I'm not taking credit.
That's a credit tape.
What you're saying is that Michael was a second coach.
He's put words into existence. It's coming. It's coming.
You can't argue. That's what I'm saying. That's where they start from.
But you know what, though? But you know what?
Numbers don't lie.
No, exactly. Numbers don't lie. Do you know what? It's not always about having the older, no disrespect, uncle, but you know they're the oldest. It's now the younger ones coming through. We're seeing it all the time, man.
I've got to step back. When I go to the gym, I've just got to step back and listen and watch them. You know what I'm saying? Because they know what they're doing. They have their vision. You know what I mean? I can only if I see something that's wayward or whatever, I might mention it to Michael. But in the main, I just keep back. You know what I mean? Because that's their domain. You know what I mean? And now he's put it on himself because he said 2 camps, 2 titles. So listen, I expect 3 camps, 3 titles. You know what I'm saying? No
pressure.
No, exactly, man. What I wanted to touch on with you guys as a team. How do you attract talent? How do you get the talent? And how do you get them to the level? And how do you stop them from kind of going to the other promoters? And because touching on what Tom said about the loyalty, it's very difficult in this market with everyone with the bright lights that you're saying. How do you really nurture that?
Well, for us, we can only what we do and what we are is what attracts fighters to us. And I'll be honest with you, it's not easy. It's not easy because you have to contend with the big management firms out there, your MTK Global and all the other guys that are aligned with the big promoters. You understand? So for us, it's not easy. So we have to relatively just do what we're doing. You know what I mean? Keep being successful, keep being a tight unit, and the talent will itself come because these guys are producing champions. You know what I'm saying? We're managing champions. The guys are coming to us. You know what I mean? And they're enjoying the training that they're doing. I've seen Michael train around with some of the amateurs that he's been training, and you could see there was a telepathy there. You know, there's a link there with it. He's got a very, very good way of training in terms of getting the best out of his fighters and making them enjoy training while they're doing it. I've been around many, many, many trainers, and I've seen that they can stifle a fighter. You know, they can make a fighter feel like he's at school rather than he's actually learning something that he's enjoying doing at the same time. And when you're training, when you're busting a gut, when you're working really hard, you want to enjoy it. The more you enjoy it, the more intensity you put into it. You know, and the benefits will reap when you get into the ring and when you fight on fight night. And Michael's got this good ability to get that out of his fighters, to make them work extra hard without them even noticing it. Every time I go to the gym, they're smiling and laughing, but they're busting a gut and they're sweating, they're dripping with sweat. They come out, they're finished, they're knackered, they're on the floor, but they've been through a hell of a training session without no complaints, without, I don't want to do that, oh, it's too tough, or without a frown on their face. It's not like that. So you only need a boxer to walk into that scenario and see that, and he's going to say, yeah, I want some of that. You know, so it's a good vibe that they're creating.
And Michael Jr., I mean, what would you say? What have you done, and what influence have you had to change things up in the gym, mix it up, keep it fresh, like for your fighters? What would you say?
I don't know. It's a hard one to be specific with that question, but it's just always trying to do different things, always learning different things. Like I'm still learning a lot in this game, and I think what helps is my fighters know this, and we're all aware of where we stand. We're all progressing as a team. And even obviously Coach Abs over here is the exact same situation. So I think the fact that we all trust in each other's progress and we all trust in each other's desire to become better. They know I want to become the best coach I possibly can be. So they know there's going to be times that it might not be as straightforward, it might not be smooth, or it might not be something they feel is progressive, but they know we're going to sit down and talk about it and obviously make adjustments as a team together. So I think it's hard to say specifically what changes I'm making or doing things to keep it fresh, but I think as a team, we do what we can by being honest with each other and working with each other and learning as we go.
And Abs, what have you...
I was going to say, you just totally forgot Jordan, man. You guys ain't asking one question.
Once you get him started, don't worry. I can wake up for lost time.
Hit my man up.
Jordan,
your
reflection on 2019, what would you say was the most accomplishment you've as a team, but also individually? What would you say you
I mean, individually it was making my debut. As a team, obviously Ryan and Rams getting their title belts. And I think just to touch on the last question that was made in terms of how did they go about keeping fighters and attracting new talent. Again, I signed to them last year. What separated the two Michaels from the rest of the people that I was talking to at the time is that, again, it wasn't so much just the knowledge of the sport, Michael's ability to coach, Michael's ability to manage. It was the family setting. I think with fighters, that's such an important thing to have. I mean, you've just seen the likes of Josh Taylor step away from McGuigan because they've not got that bond outside of boxing. And that's what we are. We're literally, it's just a massive family. So it just makes it so easy to just go through the whole training camps.
I can tell you, man, were talking outside on my way in. You were like, I've been around here for time. What are you not saying? I was hearing this. Like, I can tell from a tone. I was like, my brother's in that. Like, it's good to see.
That kind of brings me on to my next question. Outside the gym, keeping disciplined, giving each other encouragement. Like, obviously, you guys probably go for food, you go for your walks, your park runs, etc. together. But in terms of like the stuff outside the gym, the meticulous preparation before fights, how important is it to keep each other grounded, disciplined before big fights in your career?
I think it's a difficult question to ask. Again, I don't even have to answer it, if I'm honest.
Like, the importance of each fight when it comes is for us, you know, it's an opportunity. For Michael, it's an opportunity. For the boys, it's an opportunity to get one step further up the ladder, you know. And it's luckily for me, I can give them my experience from, say, Richard Comey. Michael's worked with Richard before, with Richard coming from nothing, and the length that it took him to get to a world title. You know, Michael has seen that and witnessed that progress personally himself, was actually sparring with Richard and training with Richard. So Michael can draw on that knowledge as well to keep them grounded and to say, if you want to be a world champ, Richard wasn't a world beater when we first saw him, but he had that raw talent that, if nurtured in the right way, would get him to be a world champion. And we can draw on that knowledge. And Michael can reflect that to the fighters and say, you know, you can do this, but it's going to take that, you know. So understand that if you go wonky, you're not going to get to where you want to go. You know, that's up to you. You know, we can lay the foundations and set out the map for you, but it's up to you to follow that, you know. And I think we lay it out pretty simple, you know, in terms of, look, this is your fight, and this fight is going to gain you XYZ experience. And then that experience is going to be fantastic for you for your next fight. And then that experience is going to be, and so forth and so forth. And then your opportunity will come, you know, and it's a process. You know, I think, like I said, the boys understand that, you know, and it was replicated in the wins in the southern area of what it meant to the boys what it meant to the whole team when they won their titles. The penny dropped, they understood the process, you know, and it was for everybody supporting the team and everybody around. It was just like winning a world title for us. You know?
100% right. I think as well, because we I mean, as individuals, we all have goals, we all have aspirations, and I think as the stable starts to broaden, it's much harder to really fine tune everyone's. You know, how do you, like you touched on earlier, Sam, like not over peaking too soon, or not getting too, you know.
Going back to what you said about about keeping everyone grounded as well. For me, what helps massively is social media. Even when we're not with each other, obviously we're in group chats, and obviously out with a massive Instagram page and the Instagram knowledge. So we're always firing different boxing things, boxing questions, boxing everything we're doing now compared to 2-3 years ago, where we wasn't as a unit as we are now. Where outside of camp, everyone kind of wander and go do their own thing. But I think, like you said, where we're getting tighter, we're growing, we're becoming more and more of a family. Even when we're at home, we've just left camp and we're messaging each other in a group chat. We're sending, someone might send a combination. Oh, what do you think about this? So automatically, I think you don't even really take it in, but you're actually spending a lot of time focusing on boxing or studying boxing or you know what I mean, debating with your pals. And I think that
100%.
has made a big difference as well within the team to keep everybody not just inside the gym but also outside when you're going around when you're doing the other things going on.
No, I was gonna say, I think you need that. And one thing I can say from kind of doing the show, I always like it when you hear people that are in the sport talk about actually watching other fights, watching boxing. There's a lot of fighters that come in and they say, "Oh, yeah, I didn't watch that fight last week." And it was a big fight. Or they'll be like, "Have you watched this fight a year ago?" No, I didn't watch that.
And boxing is one of the most same as any sport, but it's all opinionated. You know what I mean? None of us are going to see eye to eye, so it's always nice to hear other people's points and opinions. Coach AB, even though me and him are like working like that, and we never see eye to eye. We argue about every fight,
Basically, I'm always right.
I like the confidence AB's bringing to the team.
The way you just said it, I'm always right.
the debutant ain't backing down. He ain't
Mike
backing
didn't
down.
even deny it.
No, he didn't even switch still.
Put his head down. He went on a couple big ones, that. The most big ones he got. But yeah.
But no, that's what you're saying, though. It makes sense because boxing is so subjective, though, because that's why we get some shady results sometimes. I mean,
that people
a bit
still
that and a bit
day,
of yeah, exactly.
Even though like people like still to this day will back who they see as they might be their fighter or who they look up to or they respect the fighter. They're gonna see what they want to see or what people tell them to see.
Do you know what? I believe that because even when you spoke when you came back from Vegas about the whole Wilder thing, so some of my cousins flew in from New York and that, and I was just like, yeah, Tyson Fury's the man now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, the last fight, the fight before, you know, wow, I was like, what are you talking about? And then I didn't believe it until I started hearing it. Like, infatuated by just.
And even the referee in that fight, he said that Wilder was dominating, he was doing the aggressive work. So,
and the thing is, I'll be honest with the Wilder Fury thing. I have felt that now. Fury's performance was like so conclusive, kind of thing. Yeah. Now all the media are like, "Oh yeah, Fury's great. He's gonna do it." Blah blah blah. But I can tell you that week leading up to in Vegas, all of them were like, "I don't know,
Wilder.
you don't know Wilder." If they weren't saying Wilder, a lot of them were just like, "I'm in an
it was a 50-50 fight because as it is so subjective. We all know styles make fights.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's when you get fights like that, it's the boxer who executes his style perfectly that's going to win those fights. Because it's fine margin. Yes. You know, we all know that if Wilder catches Fury, he's out. Yeah. You know, he's going. Yeah, he's in trouble because he's proved it many times before. Yeah. But he wasn't able to execute that because of Fury's. He executed his style and his game plan perfectly.
Roughed him up.
He bullied him. It was like it was like a man and a boy, really. You know.
But bro, hold on, bro. You gotta bring the costume here. That's the that's the mitigating evidence.
His legs all worn out, man.
You know what I mean? That costume was it 340 or 640?
But have you seen his legs though, bro?
I'll tell you what though. You either totally deluded. Yeah. Or
you got chicken legs.
You are that really happened.
Yeah, something happened.
And you just can't, because you can't. That's the worst. If it is an excuse, that's the worst excuse you could bring.
Shall I tell you what I thought had happened? I thought his eardrum actually popped, and the fact he didn't come out and use that as an excuse because no one would ever know through the X-rays or whatever.
Yes,
his ear was bleeding. That's an easy excuse.
Exactly. Popped eardrum.
You're not all gonna sit here and say that you said Fury was gonna win the fight.
No. And there were times I think that leading up to it, there was only 3 people on the show that were like adamant. Tom the week before,
and I was skeptical.
Yeah,
I thought Wilder
before you were saying
100%.
There were 2 callers that called in like a month before, and they were like, "Fury's gonna
knock him out, man."
100%. That was their prediction. But me, I was like, listen, it's 50-50.
Yeah, even me, I was like, one week I was like, do you know what? Wilder could have this, you know? And then the other time, because I was thinking, look, Fury's game is always the points game. Like, as much as he's, I didn't think he was going to win that way. If he was going to win, and I said, if it goes to the points.
What made me sway with Fury in that sense is if you look at Fury, he's always gone out to do what everyone says he can't do. You know what I mean? The guy, listen, we've obviously he's touched down on mental issues. You know what I mean? The guy is special, whether you want to call it mental health. Or to me, it's special.
He's just different. A freak of nature.
He's different. And what motivates him is doing what people say he couldn't do. Down to Germany, beating Klitschko, he's done it. Come back, fight Wilder. No, you've only had 2-3 fights. No, don't do it. He's done it. So when he said, "I'm gonna go knock you out," and I believed it. Obviously, I was skeptical. Same way as everyone leading up to the fight, you're in 2 minds. But the moment he changed trainer,
the Ben Davis thing.
Right, you don't. Ben Davis for me, I rate the guy so much, so much. He's an elite trainer, and I think just to even take that fight and do what he done is a credit to himself and a level of experience he had. But to change him, because he done it, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? He done everything perfect. All they have to do is do that again the second time, not get dropped till he wins the fight.
It was a clever move though for Fury to leave.
Change trainer, right? So now that's when you got to think, right? The guy's on stuff. He's gonna do. He must be planning to do what he's saying he's gonna do. He's not just talking about it.
So still, that was the best performance. That was a fantastic. That was, you know, when you execute a plan.
I mean, he highlighted how bad Wilder's technical ability was.
Everyone said it, but no one could actually prove it.
I think take Wilder out the equation. Fury's performance was from the first bell. He came to the middle of the ring and he was on him, and that was it. You know what I mean? He's from the first round. He was on top of him, and he never let up. You know what I mean? He never took a backward step, and he protected himself from the right hand to the point where the right hand was non-existent.
Yeah, but you know what got me though? Do you know what really got me? And I was like, shit. That's when he hit him with a body and he just dropped. I was like, whoa. I I said, nah. He just went whoosh. I was like, wow.
He was walking backwards. He was walking away like, let me get out of trouble. They say he took that body shot. He said, no, let me sit down.
Do you know what it is as well? Like we talked about, there's so many technical elements to boxing, but you know what? It's actually with this fight specifically, it's not rocket science. A 19-stone man hits a 15-stone man on the chin.
Right.
And he sits down. The reason why he went to Andy Lee Sugar Hill was because there was 2 ways he won the fight. He sat down on his shots. He was imposing himself, doing the simple thing. A 19-stone man hits the scales.
Walking
against a 15.
He pushed him forward. He pushed him back.
And what he done, people know in boxing, one of the safest places to be is out of range, obviously. Yeah. One of the second safest places to be is on a man's chest. No one could generate power up close and personal. Yes. Wilder, we know he can't even generate them short punches. He likes to
terrible
lunge.
in the pocket.
He likes to lunge in. So the moment Fury got inside that long right hand range, Wilder was useless. It was a perfect game.
It did highlight Wilder's lack of technical ability because when you go into a big fight like that, you have to have a plan B and plan C. You know what I'm saying? And he was losing the round. He was losing the round.
He don't even go to the ring with a plan E.
Yeah, he had one plan with the right hand. But come on, your coaches, your trainers should instill in you. Listen, this guy's 6'9". You saw that he messed you about in the first fight, that you couldn't really get hold of him. You got away with a couple of shots. So we need to either get ourselves in range so you can land that, or if you can't land that, make sure you're out of range so you don't get in trouble. But they done neither. Once his right hand was nullified, that was it. That was it. And then the right hand was coming like a. There wasn't even a 1-2 setting it up.
It was the only time he threw it early in the fight. To be honest, if we're being honest, Fury even absorbed it pretty easily.
Because he was riding the shot. Yeah,
exactly.
Fury did say he hurt him. Fury did say he hurt him in the first round.
Everyone says that after the fight.
But he just.
But I do think, and so it's a question I'm going to say to all of you. Actually, Mike, not you, because I've got a separate question for you. But do you think in the rematch? Are you surprised Wilder's taking this rematch? That he's officially
not at all. I mean, for me,
as a fighter, as a coach, and
as a fighter, straight away you want to redeem yourself. Yeah. But the politics of boxing, if he doesn't take the opportunity, he could be waiting another 2-3 years to even get that shot again. Yeah. Does he want to really wait? He's getting older. Yeah. And then which young up and coming line is he going to have to fight to even get that chance? Yeah. With the Dubois, Joe Joyce, all these other up and coming fighters. To me, I would want to get a rematch straight away, but Wilder's not going to adapt anything in that 4 months' time. His boxing IQ, he's had over 70 fights, probably including amateur and pro, and my guy still can't defend properly. Can't stop a jab, can't block a left hook. Yeah. We've had this debate a few times in our gym, and just it's unheard of for a guy to be world champion just off of a right hand, because he's got nothing else. That's why he's got nothing else.
Special in that sense.
That's how you got to rate him.
You do.
Being able to, and also you got to rate the team around him, being able to duck the right people at the right time to say, no, let's build this up. And imagine if he took the Joshua fight before. I reckon. I don't know.
Wilder, we still on top. I don't think he needs to duck anyone. I just don't think that he's faced anyone. I think that the heavyweights out there, I think he still is on par with all of them, if not better than all of them, because of that right hand he's got. Even though he technically is shocking. From time
he always loses to people that he's got less skill than.
He comes out. If Fury's way above the rest. AJ, I still think that if he boxed AJ, if Wilder got in the ring now and we had no effect of the Fury fight, I still think Wilder causes him problems. I reckon.
No. Wilder will cause him problems, but I think my man AJ will be able to adapt to that, man. I think he's able to adapt.
I like the way you said your man AJ.
Bro.
It's one of them ones. No. Yeah, stand by your man. I hear it. Stand by your man. But this is boxing, man. This is boxing.
I'm gonna
get the money out.
Guys, from a coaching perspective, and maybe I'm going to come to you. Would you be advising your fighter to go into that immediate rematch and actually, knowing what happened in the last fight, what kind of a game plan would you be employing with a fighter that's got is a one-trick pony essentially?
So I'll give 2 different answers. Yeah. If I was coaching him, I would try to take him away and then try to work on certain technical aspects. Yeah. But from his coaches, they see it as, you know what, we're going to land that right hand in it. I think they have as much confidence in his right hand as he does. Yeah. So if I was them, I'd just tell them we're going to have to at least have a constant jab Just stay active, try to work Fury, go to the body a little bit, and just try somehow, some way land that right hand. Because let's be honest, Wilder, if he takes a rematch now, takes in a year's time, 2 years' time, it's not going to change much.
He's going to body exactly the same.
Do you think it was naive then from the likes of J Diaz to just say, you know, like obviously.
We've got a system, man. Mike's next.
Apologies.
Sorry, mate.
Do you want to answer that?
No, because Mike's passed it to AB. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry.
He's got no choice to take the rematch. He has to take it now because he doesn't generate that much money fighting anybody else. Yeah, $25-30 million. He's coming off a loss. He hasn't got a title. You know, when you look, say for instance, you're looking from a business point of view. You've got all you have to do is send an email to reactivate that clause. Yeah. Or you now have to go and find another opponent without a world title. Yeah, without the razzmatazz of a, the Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
What do you get? $2-3 million? Yeah, who's he going to fight? No one's going to fight him now. You understand? Because he's got nothing there at the minute. He's coming off a loss, a bad loss. He took a beating. So he's coming off a bad loss. Who does he go and have? Who does he go and fight? There's no one for him to fight that he's going to generate any kind of money, know. So therefore, if he's got $25-30 million sitting on the table to go and get another beating, if he gets beat by Fury again, if he gets another beating by Fury again, no one can complain. He'll still be in the same position, but £25 million richer. Because he will still be because he still have no belt. He will still been beaten by Fury. So he'll still be in that same position that he's in now.
Mick, what happens if if he activates his rematch clause, which is going to happen now?
No, he has done.
If he then gets injured in the upcoming weeks, does he still get to use that rematch clause?
Probably within the terms of the contract, there will be
this man kicking in there.
There will be within the terms of the contract. There will be a period where if either fighter gets injured, the date will get rescheduled. Depending on the injury and depending on the length. But once that clause has been reactivated, that's the rematch. Because if you notice, as soon as the rematch clause was activated, Joshua and Pulev was announced because they was waiting to see if they could get in through the back door, if they could offer Wilder some money and he would, take a step back and they could do that unification fight. But what they were trying to do is they wanted that Joshua Fury fight, but then they wanted to make that a trilogy. So if Wilder would have taken that step aside money, he would have gone, right, you step aside, we're going to put Josh. But then they would have made a trilogy. So he would have been further in the wilderness.
Probably another 18 months away at least.
So Wilder now has got 2 bites at the cherry in terms of he's going to get his $25-30 million for the rematch. If he can somehow pull it out, they will have a full fight. They will have a full fight.
In terms of that fight, I think we all agreed that basically it makes business sense, but it doesn't make boxing sense. Fury Wilder.
It doesn't at this present moment in time. The fight everyone wants to see is Joshua Fury because they've got all the belts. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight everyone wants to see. But we're talking about
I would have said whoever would have won, we would have wanted that person to fight Joshua, right? Whether it been Wilder or Fury.
But this is the business of boxing, and people from different factions invest a lot of money in their fighters to do certain things to get a certain points. When their opportunity comes, they're not just going to go and give that to somebody else. It's business at the end of the day.
At this level as well. Exactly. Like you see, I think was it Joshua was supposed to fight Pulev, was it 2 years ago in October? Then obviously he got pulled out because of a contract reason or injury. Takam filled in, but that wasn't for
Pulev's been waiting for it.
But it seems like he's been taking that little step aside money.
Of course he has. I've been causing controversy with the Gallagher and that.
He's been. I'll tell you, if that was the English media, man, they'll be all over that. I ain't heard of that since.
He's moved on to Cafe Duva now. That's his next one.
So you were saying, Tom?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, I think at this level, like, just to touch on your point, Jordan, when Groves fought Smith, and obviously Groves dislocated the shoulder, that was for all the belts, the Ring magazine. So that's why I think it got pushed back. I think it was 7 months later in May or something. I just think at this level, there's so much money to be made, so many titles on the line.
And sometimes fighters go in there, they're not 100%, but the risk is worth the reward.
100%.
Yeah, so I'm quite sure that George Groves, when he went into the ring with Callum Smith, he wasn't 100%. That shoulder
Everyone
injury,
knew that, man.
that shoulder injury that he sustained was a bad one. You know what I'm saying? It weren't easy.
Terrible.
Going in with someone like Smith, he was a big super middle. You know what I'm saying? It was
the check was nice though, man. The check was too good for him to refuse.
Exactly. And he retired on the back of that, and good luck to him. You know what I'm saying? But you know, sometimes it's not all what it seems. And as fans, you only see the two guys getting into the ring, and you don't see what's going on behind. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes before a fight. You know, in the lead up to the fight. Just little things, just contractual things, training things, you know, promotional things, PR things that go on, that if you're not mentally astute and mentally sound, they can, you know what I mean, take it affects your performance. And you know what I mean, going into a big fight like they did at the weekend 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean, to a massive win, you need to be spot on 100%. You know,
that is also true. I mean, I just want to take it forward to Joshua versus Pulev. That's now been announced. I want to ask you guys a question though, and it's to everybody, so please anyone answer is from Joshua's perspective, given what Fury's just done with Wilder, do we think we need to see a better performance from Joshua and not a Ruiz 2 type of performance?
He ain't gonna box like that.
Man, no confidence. Jordan's got no confidence.
The thing is, the way Joshua's going to box Fury, he's clearly going to sit on his chest. I mean, the only way you're going to get against Pulev.
Yes.
I heard it's completely different. I just heard Joshua Fury. That's it. That's
So when I was saying Joshua, the way Fury beat Wilder, does that kind of make Joshua need to put in a good performance against Pulev?
Okay, so I think off the back end of I think it was Wilder knocking out Dominic Brazil.
Yes.
Then straight away after that, he was trying to get a Showtime performance to get Ruiz, and that's what got him knocked out.
Yeah,
he's just got to see out the performance.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Keep it long.
Just see it out.
All right.
Joshua's already playing the mind games. He's told media outlets that he wants it to be done over 11 rounds. So he's obviously looking to long it out, make it. He's bigging Pulev up, saying that he's durable. But we all know Joshua's going to come out and he's going to throw bombs. He's going to get him done out in 4 rounds.
He don't have to try and box smart again. If he does, it's poor. You know what I mean?
Pulev's too slow. He's too robotic.
Joshua's ability is limited in terms of his technical ability is limited. So he can fight either the Ruiz 2-way. You know what I mean? Or he can fight the way he's been fighting all the previous fights and go in there and shut and bully.
For me, that's him at his best. For me, AJ's been frustrating to watch because I feel like he gets caught between two men.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. He's shown that he's got those 2 ways. So it's up to him and his camp to what way they're going to fight. You know, I think he wanted to stay away from Ruiz. Obviously, because Ruiz hurt him, and psychologically, you have to understand that plays on the boxer's mind. You know, he goes in the ring, he's the one who's taking the shots, he's the one that's gone down. So for us, it's easy to say, but go in there and do this and do that. But he has to get in there with that same guy that dropped him 2 or 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's Joshua gets in the ring now. You can see he was nervous and tentative in Ruiz the second fight. You know, but in Pulev, he's going to be back at Tottenham, it's a Spurs, all the hype machine is going to be behind him again, and he's just going to feel like he's going to walk him down and just go for him. You know,
Pulev can bang though.
Pulev can bang, but Joshua can bully him. If you know what I'm saying, he can bully him. You know what I mean? So I don't think, and he's not as slick and he can land. He's not as slick and. You know what I mean? Smart as Ruiz. Ruiz was, I mean, he has them little punches and little catches.
How old is Pulev now?
38.
Probably 50.
But you know what?
So AB, go.
No, but you know, I was just going to say quickly that I'm just the first early part of the rounds, even though Joshua might go for him, we know he's got 2 styles. I just want him to be mindful because when he was on that big stage in Wembley the last time against Povetkin, although this is what I'm saying, I don't always like the media that's also pro Joshua sometimes because they've forgotten that he made some classic errors that could have cost him. He nearly had him. If it weren't for the age and that is similar to like the experience and whatnot, he would have cleaned him out.
Let's be honest, Joshua hasn't been in with any real bangers. You know, real bangers. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, you can say that's a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Fury went over to take on Wilder in his best fight. That's 50. That was 60-40. The first fight, even it was 70-30. Because, you know what I mean? Because Joshua didn't fight Fury. No one would know Wilder. No one was going up to fight Wilder. Fury hadn't been busy. You know what I'm saying?
Been
So
out for how long?
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that was more wild and he wouldn't have done that. But Joshua, he hasn't. We want to see Joshua in a firefight. You know what I'm saying? To see what he's got. You know what I mean? Under that, you know what I mean? He can bully fighters, but you want to see him in a firefight. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like Fury was with Wilder in the first fight. You know, I mean, even when you see Chisora fight, he's always in a firefight.
Yeah.
Even Dillian White, sometimes it looks like he's down and he's out and he pulls it out of the bag. You know what I mean? Joshua seems to sustain the heavy dominance of his fire and then kind of wears them down. Do you know what I mean? With nothing coming back, so to speak. You know what I mean? So it'd be good to see someone. I mean, the early parts of the Povetkin fight, Povetkin was, you know what I mean, doing really well.
No,
But
he
it's
caught
just-
him. When
yeah.
you caught him, I was like, oh my
But
god,
he's a
not
small
ready,
heavyweight.
man.
He's a small heavyweight.
Yeah.
I think this fight, we've got to look at
Mm.
Pulev. He's got naturally quite slow feet, and I think with his most notable win, probably Chisora,
Exactly.
he took him to 12 rounds. They had like Mickey, you mentioned Chisora there, but I think with this fight, it's like Joshua knows that he's not the most, like you said, these are kind of two ways. Either goes aggressive, throws those inside uppercuts, but it's how he's going to be able to get Pulev rattled early. Make sure he doesn't respect his power. He goes through the paces. Joshua can win this fight however he pleases. If he just sidetracks all the media attention, all the hype, etc. I know probably Heady One's going to be singing him out and stuff, whatever. But like obviously, if he does the job and he doesn't worry about the outside attention, I think he can make an easy night's work for himself.
I think it's going to test Joshua's IQ. Because Pulev's the only person I've seen out jab Klitschko. Like Klitschko abandoned his jab through the whole fight. He was just setting up certain tricks around right hands, left hooks. And I don't think Joshua's got that in his locker, innit? So it's going to be interesting to see how he sets up his shots, how he avoids a jab, and just see his IQ on how to get in the inside, innit?
Yeah, it's a question for you, AB. So in terms of weight, then, do you think Joshua needs to be coming in that light type of weight when he fought Ruiz, or do you expect him to come in?
I remember when he was 235 pounds, his combinations in his hand speed was incredible, innit? I haven't really seen that in a lot of fights as well.
Okay.
Like 1-2 punches, yeah, it's fast, but 3-4s, you don't see it anymore, innit?
Yeah.
So
when you're that densely, heavily muscle bound, when you start throwing a lot of combinations, your arms get tired very quickly.
Oh,
You know what I mean, the blood can't get back, the oxygen can't get back into your blood, and you tire very quickly. And when you tire very quickly like that, you can't recover. There's not enough time.
I think the team around AJ have made all this talk about weights and things like that. I think they've made his life difficult.
Yeah,
I think all that talk, like the fact that we're even sitting here discussing what weight should he come in, what weight. I know being a heavyweight, obviously it makes a difference. Even Tyson Fury from the first to the second, I understand that. But I still feel that he doesn't know his own style. I feel he doesn't know what's best for him. When he gets in there, you see what he likes doing. Obviously, see what works. Obviously, I think the most obvious thing is when he bulldozes people, walks through them, short hooks and uppercuts on the inside. Obviously, he's got to be smart to do that. You can't just do that against everybody. So you have got to adapt a little bit. But I just think, I think AJ struggles.
Sometimes
it's baffling. At heavyweight, you've got no real. You're not cutting weight. So a fighter should be comfortable at what weight he wants to operate.
But Michael's right, because sometimes you see Joshua second guessing what he's supposed to be doing. Like some fighters, they can in the middle of a round change style, and they're going to take that on themselves. You know, often you see Joshua go back to the corner and he's getting instructions and getting. I mean, it looks like he needs those instructions to tell him what to do. You know what I'm saying? Rather than him saying, "I could see that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." And like you said, flowing naturally. You know.
But when you talk about that, and that's your like, even if you look at shot selection, understanding your balance and poise, do you think it's because he's a late starter? Similar to Wilder in the sense of that there's just certain fundamentals they just haven't gone through it through the test of time.
I think Michael's right. I think his team have confused the fact that they've made a big thing about getting certain opponents for him and for him to bully those opponents. I.e., so getting away with a lot at the beginning of his career. You know what I mean? And without his style actually being really adjusted to what the game is. It's like, all right, he's bigger than this one, so we're just going to go forward, we're going to do this, we're going to get away with it. But as soon as he came up against someone like Ruiz, who was quick, slick, kind of, I mean, they was baffled.
What age did he start boxing? 18.
It's 18 or something.
Yeah, 19, I would have said 19, even 20. Yeah,
he learned on the
Jordan
job
just about started himself.
I was 23 when I started. My style changes all the time.
But you think I'm hearing any of that? There's no excuses.
With AJ, I personally think it doesn't do him a lot of good being around the GB team a lot of the time. Because him, right now, in that first Ruiz fight, he started to adopt some of my weight styles type of boxing on the back foot with his hand down. He shouldn't be copying the Pat McCormacks of the England team. That is pot shotting at Ruiz. He's a big guy. He should be coming in with a Mexican style, exactly the same as Ruiz. I think right now he's just got a lot of fighters that, because he's still in admiration of the skills that's coming to boxing. He's a student on the boxing, so he's trying to get as much experience from the people around him and implement as in the fights as he goes along. And I think that's confusing him. I think he should step away, do what works naturally for him, and then hone that.
He's more Finch, isn't it? He's more kind of cut off the GB thing.
I know he'll go back, I think, for once.
Oh yeah, around camp. But you know, just see what I'm saying? Like he's like the loss kind of done a little bit of good, actually a lot of good, to be honest, because he's more he's cut a lot of his team. Like even you were saying, like you don't really see as much kind of, his team's very streamlined in terms of what they do and whatnot. But like you said about the confusion thing, I think you're paying all that money, you're paying for the best of the best. They should be able to have that clear vision. Like he always talks about continuity, and this is me kind of critiquing my guy a bit, but you know, over the
Don't
years,
be a fanboy, bro.
No. Hey, come on, Nigeria, man. We talking.
You just hit the nail in the coffin for yourself, man. You literally hit the nail in the coffin for yourself.
With the contingency plan, he had like a real, like, look, these are my team, these are my guys, they've been with me forever. So, all right, cool. So why are we having these problems about weight and whatnot? It's just the confusion thing, and that needs to be rectified.
So, guys, I'm going to go to. Finish your
should
point.
have been covered. All the aspects should have been covered. Not having people there for the sake of being there.
When you've got all the money in the world, you should have the best team in the world. Things should be simpler. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you should have a clear goal, you know, and it should be simple. You know what I'm saying?
No tainted meat and anything like that. Right?
You know what I'm saying?
So listen, we're going out to the lines. Got a couple of callers ready. I think that's Uncle Bang. I believe it is. 3, 2, 1. Question or statement. Hello, Uncle Benga.
Hey, hi guys.
How you doing? Not too bad.
My greetings to the manager, Michael Amoo.
Thank you.
I've been listening to you. Very intelligent, knowledgeable man.
Thank
so
you very
good
much.
luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
Is that checking the post, sir? Is that the checking the post? This is Michael's brother.
Flirting going on.
Yeah. One of the, in regards to the chat you guys just have been having, I was listening and enjoying it. I do think, you know, it's very important, because I've been in the same position when you have a guy who's not with, you have fighters who are not with one of the major promoters or TV networks, that your guys need to stay focused and take the opportunities when they come. And even sometimes when they come and you beat their guys, if you're not signed to them, they might try and freeze you out. Yeah. And a lot goes on in boxing behind the scenes, you know, injuries, which is why I'm very big. The professional boxers, top amateurs, you need to live the life of a fighter.
Yeah.
As in, you know, so that even when they call you up on short notice, or they think they're calling you on short notice, you're in shape and you can take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know.
Definitely. It's very difficult,
so,
obviously. Go on.
True.
Go on, Uncle.
So now, one of the other things I'm trying to hold my powder on potential AJ Wilder fight, Fury Wilder 3. Okay, AJ Pulev. All I will simply say is that Fury Wilder 3 has been activated. I get it, and I know why. I'm pretty sure that Al Heyman didn't want to activate this, but also the business dictates you need to activate it, because they probably know deep down that the results probably won't change. But Wilder is 34, 35. Will be 35 by the time the fight happens. You know, maybe it could well be the final cash out. And if he gets lucky, if he does somehow manage to win the third fight, well, he gets another massive payday. But I mean, I think Wilder has done well in terms of the money he's earned. You know, everybody. I mean, as you know, I'm one of the guys who's been critical of Wilder before this and predicted he was going to get knocked out. It's not because I don't like Wilder, but I'm a boxing man. You know, your fundamentals are important. You just can't have one way to win a fight. You know. Look. You see, one of the things.
Uncle, last point, because we're gonna have to round up. But last point, and then we're gonna round up. Yeah.
A guy can. How can I put it? What you're good at, may not work on any given night because of the opponent you're up against. Sugar Ray Leonard faced against Tommy Hearns. What did he do? He turned into a fighter. He became Joe Frazier to beat Tommy Hearns. No, but you see what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah.
So,
it's important to have a plan B. You can't go into that ring with just one weapon, one way of winning the fight. You always got to have something else to have a backup plan.
Yes, no problem. So anyway, all good.
Thanks, Uncle.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the support as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going out to 446. 446. The floor is yours. Question or
All right, hello guys. This is
Yes.
you all right, guys?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
How you doing,
Yes. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just a couple of points to talk about Pulev and Joshua. I don't think it's a straightforward fight like people think. You know, I think Pulev's a strong contender, right? The guy's only lost once in his career, and that was against a prime Klitschko. That was when Klitschko was really on the prime, right? And he's a serious fighter. Got a strong amateur background. Got a good resume. He's big and strong, right? He's a superstar back home, back in Bulgaria, right? So this guy ain't gonna come to lie down, right? You know, and this is probably his last chance at getting a world title. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how Joshua takes it. I think if Joshua tries to outbox him, I think it's gonna be a difficult fight for him. Yeah, because this guy's a strong boxer. Yeah. And if you look at his record, you know, he quite fought the likes of Chisora, Tony Thompson, you know, and he performed very, very well boxing these guys, you know. So I don't know how it's going to go. I think, like Joshua, you know, to get his brand back, he needs to demolish this guy in clinical fashion because everyone's on Fury's case now. Like, you know, Fury's a big star now, right? Joshua built his whole brand on battering his opponents, yeah. But his last few fights, Takam, Parker, Ruiz too, yeah, a lot of his, you know, fortune came from mass appeal to by the casual boxing fans who don't understand technical boxing. For them, it's the knockouts, right? That's what they're coming for, right? You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So if he goes down that route again, I think it's going to start losing a lot of fans. Yeah. And I don't know, like, whether they got the Tottenham Stadium because that excessive demand. I don't know if it's still there. Yeah. You know, why didn't they go for like a Cardiff or a Twickenham or Wembley? I don't know, maybe the stadiums weren't available, but right from the start they were talking about getting like Tottenham Stadium. Yeah, so I don't know if there's a demand decline in his brand.
Business,
you know. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys? Do you think like he's going to lose a lot of his casual fan base?
Personally, I don't think he's losing casual fans. I just think Fury is gaining more fans because of what he's actually done. You know, the casual fans, they've always been with Joshua, you know, because of the hype machine behind him and the promotional side behind him. But real boxing fans now are seeing the exploits of Fury and going, this guy he's come from nowhere, from the deep, dark depths of his mental illness and struggle. And a lot of people can relate to that, you know, and he's gone into the backyard of everybody's nemesis, Deontay Wilder, twice. You know, and come away with a victory, you know, that people are applauding now. And the manner of his victory, I don't think that Joshua's had a victory in that manner, you know. So I don't think Joshua's losing his fans. I think just more and more people, it's bringing more and more people to boxing. And I think you're still going to have a lot of fans supporting Joshua, but there's going to be a lot more fans now supporting Fury.
Of course.
Well, I don't know. Like, you know, if you follow the narratives on social media and like boxing groups, like 1 or 2 years ago, you can't say anything against Joshua. Say anything against Joshua, you're dead.
As soon as he loses,
Now-
then you can.
But Anam, do you
right?
see?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, do you see what I was going to
Yeah,
say?
but now, go on, man. Sorry.
Finish. Let him
Go on, finish, bro.
Yeah, but now you will find there's a lot of people that are quite critical of Joshua. They will say stuff like, he's boring, he's very selective in the choosing of his opponents. They've used a mandatory argument in the past to avoid Wilder, right? A few years ago, right, these guys literally, right, you know, they were like spokespeople. Like, I used to call them Matchroom FC fans. Yeah, they weren't boxing fans, they were Matchroom FC. Whatever Hearn says, whatever he says, that's it. You know what I mean? You can't argue with these people. But now it's different.
Yeah. So I'm going to finish there, but let someone respond. Then he wants to respond to that.
Yeah, to me, I was just gonna say, I think them fans,
Thanks for the call, bro.
not worth even entertaining. You know what I mean? If you can chop change on a man that quick because of whatever reason, then you're not boxing fans. You was obviously an AJ fan or a Hearn fan, like you said, and then obviously he didn't live up to the expectations you had of him. So for you to turn on your man, I don't think you was worthy. You know what I mean? They're not the boxing fans that anyone's really got time for.
I agree with that.
So going up to 277, the floor is yours. Question or statement? Hello.
What's going on, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown. What's happening, Rap? What's happening, Tom?
What's going on, Darryl? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just touching in. Sorry, I haven't managed to listen to the whole show. So if I've gone over anything, just let me know. But I just wanted to touch in. Just wanted to touch in on Joshua and Pulev as well. It's actually interesting hearing the last caller there making some good points. And I just wanted to say that I actually think it will go the other way. I actually think that Joshua could do a number on Pulev in this fight. And the reasons why I think that is because I know that Pulev is, you know, he's well schooled and he's experienced, but I just think he's got a bad habit of kind of leaning straight backwards when he fights. We saw it against Fury. And I don't think that he has the sort of defense or the speed or power to trouble AJ like Ruiz did, but he does have a solid jab. But I just think if you look at who Pulev has fought recently, it's nowhere near the level of competition that Joshua has fought recently. I mean, he's fought the likes of Bogdan Dinu, I think, Huey Fury, then it's like Kevin Johnson, then you're going back to Samuel Peter in 2016. So I just wanted to make that point.
You're calling out the Nigerian guys in the studio. But yeah, sorry, bro.
That's just my thought on that. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree. I think I suppose with the whole Joshua like persona and stuff, it's like Kojo mentioned earlier, does he have to do a number, or does he stick to the game plan and what he knows best? At the end of the day, he's got to take pride in the fact that he's an Olympic gold medalist, that he's learnt the foundations from an early age from the GB setup, and if he can emulate that in the fight and he can show that his class and show his experience, then he should be an easy night's work for Pulev. I understand Pulev's a very compact fighter. He's not the quickest on his feet. He's not able to make those adjustments, you know, within distance with his feet. But he's strong. He can hurt Joshua if Joshua's clumsy and he leaves his chin in the air and he gets caught. Who knows? It could be a similar repeat to Madison Square Garden. But I think Joshua, if he just uses his height, uses the simplicity of just his physique and stuff, then he should get Pulev out of there within, I'd say, 4 rounds max.
But to be quite honest, I think the business side of boxing now takes over in terms of this fight, because everybody knows the end game is Fury, Joshua. Everybody knows that's the end game. So in Joshua's mindset and his team's mindset, if that's what they're thinking, we just need the W. So we don't need to go and beat this guy. We don't need to go and knock him out. We just need the W, because we can sit there. If the rematch with Wilder and Fury is set for June, July, you know, if Joshua wins, he sits and he fights the winner. You know what I'm saying? So he don't need to go from the business point of view. He don't need to go and knock this guy out. They're looking at the end game, and that end game is a free fight contract with the winner of that fight. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's got the WBC belt at the end of Fury Wilder, which we all believe would be Fury, that means a trilogy fight. So in terms of Joshua going out and making a statement or having to knock this guy out. He doesn't have to.
No.
He just needs the W because everybody is clamoring for that fight.
Yeah, 100%. I think. I mean, just what Mick said as well. It's just purely down to the business side. Secure the win. I mean, when was the last time you see Floyd Mayweather go in deliberately trying to knock someone out? Just get the win. You're just going to build up. with McGregor. You're just there for the payday. Yeah. Secure it out. Get the win. That's what it matters.
And Daryl, question to you though. Obviously the rematch or the third fight between Wilder and Fury has been agreed. I've seen you've done some great videos on that subject. Just tell us your thoughts on that rematch, and do you think there's anything different Wilder can do to win? Sorry.
It's going to be difficult, in my opinion, because when you look at the first two fights, he was outboxed for most of it. A Fury deserved the decision in that one, and then in the second, he got beaten up. Let's be honest. So I think in the third fight, it's going to be difficult for Wilder. But I've seen a lot of people like comment on my page and like just speaking in general, and they think Wilder has no chance, and I think that that's a dangerous thing to assume. Going into the second fight, I know that Fury. He was aware of the danger, but I think if he goes into the third fight underestimating Wilder at any point, then he still has a right hand. I mean, we can't just like write him off as a bad fighter altogether. I mean, he still does have a right hand. So I think that I do obviously pick Fury. I think Fury will win again, but he's going to have to be like on top of his game again, and he's going to have to be going in there with the same sort of motivation that he did for the second fight.
No, great points there, Daryl. Listen, thanks for the call again. Definitely look to get you back in the studio soon. But all the best. And just shout out your channel before you go, bro.
Thank you, bro. Just for anybody that's listening that hasn't subscribed already, is the Boxing Lowdown on YouTube, Boxing Lowdown, all one word, on Instagram, and Boxing_Lowdown on Twitter.
Cheers. Thanks, bro.
Thanks for the call, mate.
Thanks for the call. Going out to 114. Question or statement? Hello. We've got a mute. 114. Going once. We can hear you. Going twice. 3 times. Just listening in. No worries. All right, so we're going to move on to another topic. Last topic of the evening.
But quick, can I just touch on something quick?
Yes.
I was just going to say, but when you're talking about the business side, I think now it's just the time for him to just, get out of the ring rust, roll around the ring, get the new sponsors out there and whatnot. You're in Tottenham. That's probably going to be the most expensive tickets of the year. You got Daniel Levy there, but also you got to look at Daniel Levy's it's a Tottenham stadium, but also they're in affiliation with the NFL. Who's got the biggest rights to the NFL right now is DAZN. So it's all kind of interlinked, intertwined, and it's more than a business. But that's all I wanted to say.
That's great.
It's basically the chips are down, and Joshua, you that's why the delay in naming the fight, because they wanted the opportunity to go straight to Fury. So now you've got to fight Pulev. Now everyone in AJ's camp will be like, just got to win this. We ain't got to listen to anybody else. Don't care how you fought Ruiz or anybody else. You know what I mean? If you have to do the same. Let's get the W, and then we'll sit down, and we got this trilogy coming against probably Fury, you know what I'm saying, and then we're going to plan that, you know what I mean, and that's going to be worth 100 to 300 million pounds to stupid money.
Reset, replan, and just go again.
So it's just about the W. Personally, that's how I see it. You know what I mean? That's the fight everybody wants. That's the fight DAZN want to make. That's the fight Top Rank want to make. You know what I mean? So I can't see anybody else. I can't see anyone around Joshua saying, if he was my fighter, I'll be saying, listen, just go out, jab, nick each round as you can, and let's get the W. That's it.
Before we conclude, we definitely got to bring up DAZN in May,
next,
the UK.
That's next. I wanted to ask Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur. That's been announced. Guys, just tell me your thoughts on that fight, and then we'll come on to the DAZN piece.
I think it's a good fight. I think obviously Yarde's been to that world level stage. He's obviously sustained the defeat to Kovalev. I don't think it's too much of an ego break or a break to his character. I think he'll take a lot from that defeat to Kovalev. I think now it's how he reacts to that shows his character. Obviously, Kovalev was a seasoned champion before he lost to Canelo. He was someone of a lot of he had a big reputation, still a big puncher, and obviously showed that in the fight. So I think if Yarde just has taken those lessons from that defeat to Kovalev and does what he's been doing and blasting guys out, then his power should get to Arthur. Obviously, Arthur's never mixed it at this level before. I know he's the same stable as Zelfa Barrett. Pat Barrett will obviously, develop a game plan and establish a way of trying to beat Yarde. But I think I'd have to edge towards Yarde's stoppage in this fight. I just think his size, his power, the way he's just so methodical with his shots. He doesn't waste a lot of his shots. His work's quite efficient. So I think we're going
Yarde.
Yarde.
Who wants to take?
I mean, it's a good domestic fight, and it's a good fight for both fighters. Because obviously Arthur Yarde is mixed with world champion, gone to Russia, mixed with Kovalev. Arthur's never mixed with a fighter like that. So it's a good yardstick for both fighters to see. Really, from Yarde's point of view, he did tire badly against Kovalev, but he's coming down to a level that should impose his experience on the other fighter. But the other fighter has got an opportunity to see where he is.
Yes.
I think he's 12 and is he 12-0?
Commonwealth champion.
13. So he's got a chance to see where he is as well. So a loss for Arthur isn't a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But it gives both fighters and both camps to see where their fighters really are. You know what I'm saying? Because it was always going to be a tall ask for Yarde to go and beat Kovalev in Russia.
See, for me, I think...
Wait, say, don't bypass the question, though.
What?
Who wins?
Who wins?
Yeah. I think Yarde wins. I think Yarde wins.
Yeah, so with me personally, I'm sort of sitting on a fence only because... No. Thing is, I'll pick Yarde, but I'm sitting on a fence just because Lyndon Arthur, he's got a much more amateur background than what Yarde does. Yarde's obviously got more experience in the professional ranks. The reason I'm sitting on a fence is, has Yarde now gone away and improved on stopping the jab? Because that's something that was landing against him the whole Kovalev fight. Lyndon Arthur's going to be popping the jab from round one. But then in his last fight, I see with Lyndon Arthur, he got caught by, I think it was a Nigerian, and he got wobbled.
It's the Ghanaian guy.
Ghanaian.
That guy tested him hard.
Yeah, tested him. And you know what? Has that guy got the same power as Yarde? He probably doesn't. So
I just make Ghanaian power.
The power was there, but was the accuracy there? But no, it's just one of them that. How is he going to react to getting hit clean on the chin? So who do you say? I'm going to go with Yarde. Yarde, stop it.
AB.
Coach.
I like Lyndon Arthur and I like his style, especially against Yarde. He does that shoulder roll, but he doesn't do it properly. And with Yarde, you don't know if it's a front foot fighter, a back foot fighter. And other than Kovalev, he hasn't fought anyone near the level of Arthur either.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
The guy who fought before Royal Albert was a joke. Like, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Do you remember his name?
Mike. So
he's Lyndon Arthur.
He's picking Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've never even heard of this guy.
Swear down, yeah.
I don't watch boxing, man. These guys do the research. I tell you what, these lot get on to me, innit?
Yeah.
Listen, I know every bantamman, super bantamweight in the country because they could be my fighters.
Yes, okay, yeah.
But these other brothers, but Yarde's my guy. I will never. I love the guy. I think, to take that fight he took in Russia, so I gotta go with Yarde.
Yeah. No, big up. And then the last one, we're gonna quickly spin round, so it has to be very quick. Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin's been announced. What's the maximum violence? I want to start with Sam. Sam, how do you see that fight playing out?
I think
brief.
Do you know what? Dillian's going to do his thing. He's going to show up, do what he's doing. He's going to keep demanding and talking about the WBC. I mean, he needs a title shot. Everyone knows that. It's no news now. But I just want to really see him improve. I want to see him at a good weight. I want to see him really in shape. And, I want him to be honest, he really should be putting Povetkin to bed, man. That's it.
He should be. But you know what? I'm going to go with Povetkin on this one just because he ain't going to look to boxing. No, you know what? Listen, Dillian Whyte's a much better boxer. And you know what? If he plays it safe, out jabs him, he's going to outbox him all night. But Povetkin ain't going to go in there looking to box Dillian Whyte. He's going to go in there first 3 rounds looking to take him out. And has Dillian Whyte got a defensive ability to not get caught by that? So that's the only reason I pick Povetkin. Just an outlandish one.
I agree with him to a degree. I think early on Povetkin's going to stick it on him, going to take it to him. But White's got a very good chin in order to take a punch. And Povetkin at 38. How old is he?
40 now. It's 41. 41.
My man's fighting like Tyson, rolling under, coming with the hooks.
But I think eventually that left hook's gonna land is gonna tire, and White's gonna take him out late.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm tired of losing I think, like I said, Povetkin, like he done against April, you know, he's a good, serious test for anybody. But I think Dillian Whyte, his jab and his boxing ability has come on loads. Obviously, like you touched down on, we want to see him step it up another gear now. We want to show for him to transition that between boxing and brawling, but getting back to your jab. I reckon a hard fight, but Dillian Whyte pulls it out at the end.
Senior? With abs, I think Povetkin starts quick. And it all depends, you know, when it comes to these fights, it all depends how much the fighter wants it. Because, you know, if Povetkin really wants it, he could cause Dillian Whyte all kinds of problems if he really wants it. If he's there to make up the numbers and to take a fight and to get a payday, he's going to come in for a good show for 5-6 rounds and then tire and White's going to take
I reckon he'll want it, but it's obviously his body as well.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. No, but what I'm saying, if you really want it, you put yourself through that. You know what I mean? And then, I'm saying, you see some of these fighters, when they really want it, they go through. They go to the world. Like Takam, when he comes over and he has a goes to the. You know what I mean? He comes with it. He comes with it. You know what I'm saying? And he gives it everything.
So he goes Dillian Whyte.
I think Dillian Whyte at the end of the day too much at the end.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Listen, it's been a pleasure having you guys on. Before we let you go, do you want to just do your social media shout outs?
Yeah, before we go, I just want to shout out to one of my boxers who's heavyweight, who's Ishmael Oladipo. We call him Biggie. Yeah, he had a terrible time with injuries. He's from Nigeria.
Of course, man. I knew.
He's a heavyweight. He's had a terrible time. He 3 years ago, he was aspiring the likes of Chisora and David Hay and stuff, and he broke his ankle. He had a terrible busted ankle, and he's had a bad time. You know what I mean? But he's coming back and he's training really, really hard. And he's got a fight on March the 21st on a Goodwin show. So I'd just like to give him a big shout and well done for the training that he's putting in.
Big up. Big up Oladipo.
Social media,
these guys are the social media guys. You know what I mean? I just
Streetwise Management anyway on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Michael.
Nah, me, you come follow me in real life, mate.
He's going to be down, Coach AB.
The Purist Boxing, Coach AB17, and the Purist Coaching for the whole team.
Yeah, perfect. And then Jordan.
Yeah,
and also talk about your fight coming up as well. What date's that?
Yeah, so I'm fighting on the 14th of March, next Saturday. Down at York Hall. Come and support. You'll see me move to Foreigner. And then it's my first 6-rounder. See how that goes. Then I look to be out again May, July, September, December,
active,
every other month. Yeah.
No, respect for that. So listen, guys, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you. For everyone that's listening, just got to say big thank you. Don't forget to support all the channels: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all Raps on TV. Looking forward to this boxing this weekend. We've got Karanaki taking on Hellenius over in New York. And then UK, have we got any UK cards? Scott Quigg, Carroll, Fowler's on that. So that's quite an active card down in Manchester. So yeah, look forward to chopping it out with you guys next week. But until then, we are out. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready here.
He's taken another one and another, and Howard Foster has stopped it. Wow, that is going to be controversial. That's a crunching right hand, and that must finish it. It must finish it.
Taylor trying to catch himself, using his jab. He's the right hand, another right hand, and he goes down. Oh my goodness.